not George Bush. Not George Bush. It was Bill Clinton. All right? At the behest of Larry Summers. Now, the beneficiary was Citibank, which immediately mixed the casino and the church plate. Within 48 hours of the Glass-Steagall Act being shattered, Robert Rubin, the mentor of Summers, went to work for Citibank. His compensation totaled over $100 million. Cheap, because when Citibank's gamble went bad, they got $1/3 trillion. $1/3 trillion from Czar Summers. Now, I don't care. I don't care. Give them their trillions. We don't care. What do we get in return? What do we get in return? And I flew out to 8 Mile, Detroit, which used to be part of America, and until the auto reorganization, and met with a guy, Robert Pratt, a UAW worker. He has 5 kids. He used to have 6, but his 12-year-old son was shot dead by a stray bullet in his backyard. It's a tough neighborhood, 8 Mile. He's losing his home to a mortgage from Countrywide Financial. Okay. Countrywide Financial's CEO, Anthony Mozilla, earned $670 million in a half a dozen years. I don't mean his corporation earned $670 million. That was his take-home pay. For predatory mortgages. That's what he got. Now, that would have destroyed Robert Pratt and his family, because he had one of those predatory mortgages where he paid $475 a month for his $100,000 mortgage at 4%. And little did he know that there was an IED implanted in page 14, which said that the interest rate would go from 4% to 12%. Now he's supposed to pay $1,500. He's going to be living in his Chevy with his kids. Okay. That's a crime. It was decriminalized by Larry Summers. Now the crime would have been busted, but the real, besides Summers, who I once wrote, by the way, in the book Best Democracy Money Can Buy, I wrote that this is years ago, I wrote that Larry Summers is actually, according to my investigative research, I do investigative reporting, which isn't done in the U.S. after paper activism, that Larry Summers is actually a collection of aliens sent to Earth to turn us into a cheap source of protein. Now, it would have been busted, except for, and the real cause of the depression is Ashley Dupree, Satan Gone with the Wind name, who you haven't heard of in relation to economic issues, but you've probably seen her from the waist up. She was the lady who spent the night with Elliot Spitzer for $4,000. Right? And the thing was, Spitzer, the next day, that was Valentine's Day Eve. The next day he was going to announce that he was bringing legal action backed by all 50 states attorneys general, all 50 states bank regulators, to put an end to the subprime market. Because the subprime market is in fact predatory loan sharking, and it is a crime. Okay? It is not a business, it's a criminal enterprise. But they got him. Okay? So now what we know, because he was the sheriff of Wall Street, and they caught the sheriff with his badge off, right? So now, instead of busting these guys, we're giving these guys bonuses. What I'm concerned with is the question then is, now you've got the rap. I can go on and on and on, but I'm not, because I'm going to force you to buy my goddamn DVD. Palast investigates from 8 Mile to the Amazon on the trail of the financial marauders of investigative reporter Greg Palast. You can make a donation to the Palast Investigative Fund. It's tax deductible. And when you see this long-legged redhead showing up, you're supposed to take the money. I don't know. I think she took the money from this afternoon from Greek Fest and hasn't reappeared. All right. Ashley was her name. Whatever. What can I play? Anyway, what do we do? What do we do? We're talking to Paul Krugman about this. He says, oh, we need another FDR. This is before the election. We need another FDR. We have to find another FDR. We have to find another FDR. You just heard it. Okay? I said, Paul. Come on, because we're both economists. Paul, what do you mean we have to find another FDR? We didn't find the FDR in the first place. He was a conservative governor of New York, right? Talking about balancing the goddamn budget and facing a depression. What a schmuck. But then there was an uprising after the city of New Orleans was drowned in 1928. Populist uprising led by a guy, Hugo Chavez. And that movement was created, and Roosevelt realized as a politician, holy shit. So he rolled his wheelchair up to the front of the line and said, I'll lead you! And took the Huey Long program called the New Deal, had Long assassinated, the rest is history. Now, what I'm saying is, we don't need to find an FDR. FDR, if we act, FDR will find us. We don't have to worry about which Obama we elected, okay? It's time we continue to act instead of dissipating. There was a tremendous movement which put him into the White House, took him from the south side of Chicago. A guy doing blow, playing round ball in the south side of Chicago, suddenly he's in the White House. What, he didn't do that, you did that! Okay? Now, make sure that you don't say, okay, our job's done, it's beginning. I'm not exactly sure what we do, but I know we don't leave this room until we are leading again. And then, we don't have to find out which Obama was elected. He will find out from us. There you go. Okay.